He threw it down on the floor of the taxidermy shop where they worked, and it slid up against some deer antlers that were sitting there. And this sparked the idea in Douglas for what it is, the pictures you've seen, I'm sure.
What did I tell you?
Since the 13th century, there's been a type of creature spotted mostly in Persia. And there's been stories that have kind of sprung from that for years.
Okay.
So, pretty cool little cryptid. It's called the jackalope.
I've heard of this. I know of this.
Okay. All right.
Rabbit with antlers.
Rabbit with antlers.
Where can I find one and where can I buy one?
I guess you could make your own.
I'm not going to go catch a rabbit and tape antlers to its head. I'm sorry. That's just cruel. I want the real thing.
Fair enough. Do they exist, in your opinion? Since you do know about them.
No.
No? Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
probably not.
The theory is, or the story is, a cross between a jackrabbit and an antelope. Wild, right? Kind of weird, nonsensical.
I want to know what Frankenstein doctor is performing these experiments to get these to crossbreed, because that's not going to happen in the wild.
Well, here we go.
Please.
I think they could be real, but are they a crossbreed type of situation? Or is it more like a Mother Nature didn't have much mercy on them kind of situation?
But isn't it a cross, technically, between...
That is a theory. That is a thought.
Or Mother Nature just said, you know what? I'm going to give you some antlers, because why not?
That is kind of what I'm thinking, what I'm leaning towards, at least. So, like I said, since the 13th century, and then the Europeans have stories of them from the 17th century. And they actually in Austria, they were known as Rauackle.
You're not very good with German, are you?
I'm not very good with these words. In Germany, they were called the Walpertinger.
Okay.
Yeah. And the German one apparently was saber-toothed and had wings as well.
And you're going to tell me that you think that this exists. Winged, fanged, antlered rabbit.
Not so much the legends of it. I'm going to say the more so like the real version of what it would be. I'm going to say I do think is real.
The real version of what it be?
So you don't know as much about jackalope as you thought.
I thought I did. I knew that it was a rabbit with antlers. What else is there to know?
So I think that these places have taken what they've seen and
tall tale-ified
it. Exactly. Because I think that there is a true condition, but we'll get to that.
Ooh. I get what you're saying now. It's a genetic malformity that happened, and they kept breeding and kept getting bigger antlers.
Well, I don't know if that so much is the case, but that could be the case. I don't know.
I would believe that more than wings.
Do you think that they could mimic human voices?
You're stepping into some other territories there. You're stepping on some other legends' toes, and no, I don't.
As I said, it is a cryptid.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some truth behind the cryptid. So the cryptid's kind of, the legend has spun and spun and spun to be what it is now of mimicking human voices. They are, apparently their milk is an aphrodisiac as well. How about that?
When can I leave this conversation? Who's milking a rabbit? Is that a thing? Do people actually milk rabbits?
I don't think so. That'd just be weird.
I feel like there's somebody out there who might do such a thing.
Well, you did say you wanted rabbits. You might be trying this someday, right?
No, I will not be milking any future rabbit that I may own.
Oh, goodness.
Please.
I'm going to continue. Yes, let's get into where the legend is known in America.
Okay.
So Douglas Herrick lived in Douglas, Wyoming, and in the 1830s, his brother returned from hunting with a jackrabbit. He threw it down on the floor of the taxidermy shop where they worked, and it slid up against some deer antlers that were sitting there. And this sparked the idea in Douglas for what it is, the pictures you've seen, I'm sure.
What did I tell you?
Yeah. So that's kind of where it kind of began, more so in the realm of cryptid or just creativity.
That it's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I buy that.
Yeah, obviously. But from that point, the brothers mounted and sold them to people in the town. And like, it was a smash hit.
I have heard of that. I have heard of the taxidermy where people were putting deer antlers on these rabbits' heads and selling them and everything. That's kind of what I was thinking of with the jackalope, was the false taxidermy,
right,
as opposed to flying rabbit things
right,
that are getting milked for their aphrodisiac tendencies.
That's kind of where the legends began in other countries, Germany and those European countries, whereas the legend in the United States kind of started with Douglas Herrick.
So nobody knew anything from the across the pond?
Not really, no.
And it just kind of happened one day over here of, ooh, that looks cool. So they had no clue about the actual previous legends.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, interesting.
So since that point, it was such a hit. Postcards, figures, and any other knickknacks that could be found had this thing on it. Like, it was the talk of every town in the area.
I'm just picturing people in this town. I know you've heard of the pigeons with hats in Nevada, how somebody has been gluing hats onto pigeons.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing people in this town like capturing rabbits and just sticking deer antlers to them and just letting them roam free.
That would be pretty cool.
Just for the giggles of it.
And it would work perfectly in this town where it is such a cult-like following of it. Would be pretty awesome.
I'm just picturing a horde of rabbits with deer antlers on their head.
Yeah, me too. That'd be pretty cool.
Anywho.
So fast forward to the 1940s, and Douglas, the town, labeled itself as the jackalope capital of the world, headlining papers and using it to draw in tourists.
How is it the jackalope capital of the world if the jackalope wasn't there until way after the jackalope was around in other places?
I think just because of the people crazy about it like they were. And also like a marketing ploy as well, because they were drawing in everyone. Everyone wanted to go where the jackalope was big at. Where they thought, oh, we might just see one, or we can go buy one that has the antlers on it.
Or I could just go hunt my own rabbit and go buy antlers at the store and just put antlers on it. I don't need to go to the jackalope capital of the world, apparently.
But what do tourists like doing? They go like, they
tourism.
Like doing to do tourist things. Yeah. The town actually in 1965 erected an 8-foot tall concrete statue of the jackalope and a 13-foot tall cutout on one of the hillsides there. Like, they were fully into it.
I was just say, there's like so much as being a fan and enjoying something, and then there's a line that you cross where you become the super fan stalker. You step into that realm of, you have crossed the line.
Yeah.
You've taken it a little too far.
Yeah, definitely.
But I want to see it now.
We will probably go one day, because I think it would be really fun, really cool and interesting. We could actually go to the annual Jackalope Day in June. And it's like an assortment of like a parade, crafts, everything, the whole nine.
Well, let's see. It's February. We have some time. How far of a drive is it?
We do. Where was this at again?
Wisconsin or
Wyoming.
Yeah.
We wanted to go to Wyoming anyway.
It's not that far of a drive.
I mean, it's only like 20 hours.
Worth it. We've driven further.
Yeah. The Douglas Chamber of Commerce even gives hunting licenses out. Even though they know this isn't a real thing.
That is just a ploy for the government to get money. I'm going to tell you that right now.
The catch is you can only buy one if you have an IQ lower than 72. And this is like officially from the Center of Commerce.
You're going to have to get the jackalope hunting license for the two of us.
I would probably be able to, yeah. And you're only able to hunt between midnight and 2 a.m. on June 31st. It's like, pay a hunting license. I don't know how much it is.
Can you get an out-of-state license?
Probably, yeah.
We need to go get you an IQ test.
Yeah. I think that's mostly a joke. I think anybody can go get it. And
well,
it's
that's
like,
no fun.
Kind of a joke.
Only people under an IQ of 72 would, go buy
actually
that.
Believe it.
Or
though, that's the thing.
Do it for the memes.
Exactly, yeah. Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Because it costs money.
I don't know. I think it's pretty funny, and it would be fun to do. So, let's tell you about a couple of sightings, actually, that apparently happened. So there is a guy, Dr. Richard Shope, who in the 1930s heard a friend telling him about a rabbit with horns. This friend sent him a sample of the horns, and after putting it under a microscope, he discovered that there were warts caused by papillomavirus. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
It's cervical cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And in humans, it's cervical cancer. Eventually, within his research, he actually came up with a cervical cancer vaccine from the horns off of rabbits. Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to call it jackalope, though.
Right. I agree.
Because I'm just trying to think. So when you say horns, I'm thinking like rhinoceros, single front of the face kind of horn.
Yeah.
Or was it more like devil horns going on?
Well, I think the way that his friend told him was that it was either devil horns or kind of more like deer antlers of it. It was horns with
sprouts
hanging off of them. Yeah. And that might have been the case. And I think that's the way it's described by a lot of people who have claimed to see it.
That's just wacky.
Yeah. It is.
I mean, something good came out of it. So at least in that case, something was actually there. It was not a jackalope. It was just a poor rabbit that...
Yeah.
It wasn't long for this world at that point, I don't think.
Right. So another story, a man named Rick told a story. He was driving on a mountain road at a pretty slow speed when something came down the hill into the road. He stopped before hitting it, and it scurried off, leaving him in awe of what he had just seen. He claimed it had regal-looking, calcified antlers. Like this was a full-on deer, but in the size of a rabbit.
So, hear me out. There is an animal called the dik-dik, and it is like a miniature deer.
Yeah.
Is this what this man saw?
I don't know. Just explaining it as having the body of a rabbit.
Nah, but for reals, he's like, you're just driving down the road and rabbit comes bouncing down the hill and it's just standing there. And whenever you're driving down the road and there's a squirrel there and it just panics and doesn't know what to do and it just turns and stares at the car and just freezes. Deer in headlights.
Yeah.
It's little antlers.
Yeah. That would be a pretty funny sight. But he actually looked it up online and tried to find what he had seen, and everybody was like, no, it's just a hoax, it's fake, it's whatever, or saying, no, it's not calcified antlers, it's just a deformity that these rabbits have. And he's like, I know what I saw, and nothing you guys are explaining is correct. But
I'm not going to claim that this man did not see something. What I am going to suggest is that somebody around the town is out here gluing antlers to bunnies' heads. And maybe he did see this. Maybe there was a rabbit that stumbled out in the middle of the night not knowing what to do because it's got these antlers strapped to its head and it's just confused and it's just saying, take me, I don't want to be here anymore. Hit me with your car, please.
Yes.
So he's doing all the Googling that he can to try and find it, but he's not going to find anything because somebody just glued antlers to its head.
True. That's a fair point. That's a very good possibility. If it's common that this was a thing being drawn up as hoaxes by people.
I could see it.
Yeah, possibly.
People gluing hats to pigeons' heads.
Possibly.
And sombreros. Please. Before I tangent.
Oh, I know, you would. So they're closing up here. They are claimed to be able to speak, that they are immortal, that they can turn invisible, that they can fly, even if they don't have wings. They can fly. And they're also, if you see one, they're a symbol of bad luck. But this is all of the common cryptid things, obviously.
Yeah, no, you lost me. You 100% lost me. The talking thing, all I can think of is from whenever we were talking about Alaska before, the Kushtaka, the otter that mimics people's voices to lure them into the woods. So is the jackalope luring people into the woods as a sign of bad luck and then spears them on his little tiny antlers?
Possibly. I don't know.
Is the jackalope more sinister than we thought it was?
It might be. Yeah. I don't know. But in my opinion, like I said, there is this thing that is a cancer virus that does cause growths on the heads of rabbits. So what people had originally seen is probably that, right? I would think.
I'd go with that, yeah. And
then people have run with it and then created, basically, out of nowhere, a cryptid.
I mean, isn't that how most cryptids start? Was somebody thought or somebody did see something funky and then they told their friends and then those friends told their friends and then now everybody's seeing this thing and it all just spirals.
True.
Or it all starts off with like Native American legends or things like that of ancient civilization legends that just kind of get passed down and telephoned and it all just goes awry at some point.
Yeah. I think it could be that. I'm pretty sure it is that of people thought they saw something, then everybody else just kind of went with it. My thoughts.
Yeah, I think people just have too much time on their hands.
They do. But I guess you guys let us know what you think.
I think I'm going to go buy a jackalope. Do they sell taxidermy jackalopes on Amazon? Because I've got some Googling to do.
They very well might. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.